Hello, I'm Beth. Thank you so much for joining me for today's yoga practice. So this class is going to be a chair yoga class. Almost all of the postures are going to be seated in the chair. We're going to do one thing at the very end that has you coming off the chair. You can skip that, or I'll show you an alternative if you need to stay seated. Now, if you don't need to be seated, everything that we're going to do today, except for that one last part, can be done standing. If you've already been seated all day, I encourage you to stand up and do some of these poses. As an alternative, get down on the floor and sit on the floor. So the chair is wonderful if you need that accessibility. If you don't need it, move your body in a different direction. We will use a long strap today. You can use anything as a long strap, a long belt, robe tie, dog leash, so it doesn't have to be a yoga strap like I have. Make sure you gather your prop. I suggest just resting it over your thighs if you're seated in a chair like me. Come to sit on the edge of your chair and we'll get started. So this practice is going to focus entirely on the shoulders. We're going to do a lot of yummy moves for the shoulders, which can get stiff if we're doing a lot of driving, texting, or just seated all day in kind of a slumped posture. Start by sitting on the edge of your chair, sitting in an upright posture so your sits bones touch the chair, your shoulders are over your hips, and we'll just take the shoulders up and down, starting to move them around just a bit. And already this might feel really nice. If your shoulders are stiff, or maybe they were kind of stuck up in the up position, as you move them down, you might feel a little release already. And then from the simple up and down motion, take a few rolls. You can roll backward, you can roll forward, or you can do a little bit of a one side and then the other, any way that just starts to get some mobility and movement into your shoulders that feels good. The last little warm-up move we'll do is we'll combine the lift with a little bit of that rolling action. So lift your shoulder blades up toward your ears and then pull them behind you together, emphasizing the upper parts of the shoulder blades coming together. Lower your shoulders a little bit, emphasize the middle parts. You might draw your elbows back. And as you emphasize the bottom tips, draw your elbows back even more, and then release completely. We'll do that a couple more times. This is called milking the shoulders. So reach your shoulders up, pull the shoulder blades back behind you, emphasizing the upper part of the shoulder blades. Lower your shoulders a little bit, pull more, emphasizing the middle part. Lower a little more, pull back. You can pull back with your elbows too. Lower shoulder blades and release. And let's do that one more time. So lift, a little bit of a pull back in the upper area, lower, pull back mid, lower, pull back lower, maybe add the elbows. You can release and shake that out a little bit. Okay. So we'll use the strap. We're going to start with the strap in a nice wide grip, and you might even have to widen it beyond this, but plenty wider than shoulder width. Hold the strap out in front of you, and as you do, pull your shoulder blades toward me, so moving the strap away from you. That's protracting or pulling your shoulder blades apart a little bit. And we're going to take the strap up in a big arc, trying to keep our spine, our ribs stable, so the movement is really isolated into our shoulders. And then you can only go to here. You can move a little bit behind you, and you notice my strap is slipping wider because I need more width. If it's comfortable for your arms, you can continue to let the strap come out behind you. Now you're pulling your shoulder blades together behind your back, and maybe the strap comes lower. Watch out for the back of your chair. Lifting back up again, pulling your arms in that direction, the reverse direction, without adding your chest up or your ribs, and then lifting overhead, bringing the strap down in front again. We'll do that 3 to 5 times, so go at your own pace, trying to create as wide a circle as you can, and it's fine if your circle is like a half rainbow and you stop at this place. If your arms just don't want to go any further, get stuck, simply extend them as much as possible at that place and then draw them back up. Now you might see my arms bending as I do this. A mini bend is always okay. Work to keep your arms pulled out of the sockets as straight as possible. I have to think about that a little bit more to do that. and back up, and maybe one more time wherever you are. You can rest if you've already gotten to 5. So one more, lifting away from you, pulling the shoulder blades away, up and over the head to whatever degree works for you, and then back forward. All right, we'll do another move with the strap. But I didn't say anything about the legs. They can be wider apart. They can be closer together. I feel pretty stable in my lower body with my legs a little bit more than hip width. So put them wherever you feel stable in your body. All right, this next move with the strap, we're going to go back to that overhead position. This time I'm going to scooch my hands a little bit closer together, about maybe a little bit more than shoulder width. I'm going to start drawing my elbows out to the side as I pull the strap down so my arms come into that cactus or goalpost position. My shoulder blades are already pulling behind me, so I'm going to glance to my elbows and make my elbows go even further behind my shoulders if I can, pulling them behind me, pulling the shoulder blades together on my back as I lower the strap about to neck level. And then as I push back up, I keep my shoulder blades together to start, pushing. This is so much harder than it looks. All the way up tall, keeping my arms as much behind me as I go up. So not here, but way back here. One more time with this one. It takes a lot of effort. Remember to pull the elbows as behind you as much as possible. And if my chest lifts like that, it's just trying to cheat the movement out of my shoulders. It's not wrong. It just means that it's not as isolated into the shoulders. And then lift. And back down. All right. So the next few moves, we're going to try them all on one side, and then we'll go to the other side. These are going to be preparatory movements for a move called eagle arms. Actually, we'll do eagle arms next. First, we'll start with cow face arms, Gomukhasana arms. So that's what these next few moves we're going to prep for us. So I'll mirror you. Take your right hand and take the fingertips so that they come just behind your side at about your waistline level. No more. Your wrist maybe touches the side of your abs or your waist. And then from here, really gently reach across with your opposite arm wherever you can get and pull at your upper arm so that your elbow comes a little forward. Now, if you can't reach, that's fine. You can do that just by looking over and moving your elbow forward so that your elbow comes forward to the plane of your body. You'll likely feel this somewhere behind in your shoulder blade, your rotator cuff area. Don't strain. It's a really subtle, small movement. And then we'll take the same hand and slide it across the body so your forearm touches your lower back, and you can see my fingers peeking out on the other side. Your fingers might not make it to the other side. That's completely fine. Wherever your arm goes is the forearm across the lower back while still keeping the upright posture. Now we can get a little bonus neck move in here by tipping your ear toward the right side, so away from your extended elbow. That feels nice. As we're stretching, there might be a little bit of discomfort as we move tissues that have kind of fused where they are, kind of got a little stuck or sticky, but we never want sharpness, never pain. That's your body's signal to stop and back off. All right, one more last move on this side. Take your hand so that it's about middle of your back, so right about where your spine is, keeping the back of your hand against the middle of your back. And then we're going to start to wriggle it up. So moving your hand up the center of your back, up your spine, maybe seeing if you can wriggle that hand in between your shoulder blades. And I'll do a quick slide so you can see where it is. You can help with this other hand if that's useful for you. And stop wherever your own wriggle ends. We're not trying to force anything in this practice. As you do this, though, give your hand a little bit of an encouragement for this shoulder to stay back, your arm bone to stay plugged into your shoulder. So I'm going to want to curve forward, give it a little encouragement to stay back. All right, and you can wiggle that back down, and we'll do those moves on the other side. So this time, take your right hand, again, fingertips on the side of your body behind you, just up to about where your wrist is. Start to keep your shoulder back, just like we did in the last pose, and you can allow your elbow to start coming forward. You can reach or not, so if you can comfortably reach across with your left hand and grab somewhere on your arm, that doesn't feel like it's a strain, just a gentle little pull to the muscles behind in the area of the rotator cuff. And we're just holding for a few seconds. And then we'll slide that hand all the way through, or whatever all the way is for you. Maybe you get to see your fingertips on the other side. Maybe your elbow is still more out to the side than mine is. Wherever it is, then again, we practice plugging the shoulder blade in, or plugging the arm bone into the shoulder socket. And stay here and breathe. Always breathe. Soft, comfortable breath. Last thing on this side, we're going to start to slide the hand with a little wriggle up the center of the spine. So you can use this other hand to kind of help you with the wriggle. You can reach out, reach under if you are able to grab your arm. This can take a lot of practice. In fact, a nice place to practice these moves is in the shower, because your muscles are more naturally warm and you might find you have more range. That's how I got my arm to do it on the difficult side. All right, then release your little wriggle. So in order to move into our Gomukhasana cow face, we're going to do one more little stretch. Now take the right hand, or your left hand, actually, my right, your left, and place it on the back of your neck. Just touch the back of your neck without letting your chin come toward your chest, keeping your chin level. So you might recognize this as a tricep stretch. You can lift on this way, hold your tricep, or you can reach over and tug a little bit. And when I say tug, remember, really super gentle. You can even add a little bit of a lean to this if you'd like, leaning toward your right and then getting a whole left side lateral stretch. So that's another option. And setting that back down, and we'll go to the other side. So your right hand touches the back of your neck. Lift the elbow up. Come overhead if that's accessible for you. Gentle tug. Add a little lean if you'd like to add the side stretch. And then come back up. Here's where we try our Gomukhasana arms, our cow face arms. So take the strap and place it over your left shoulder. If you have a little end buckle like I do, you can just let that hanging in front over your shoulder so that it comes down the middle in the back. Now, I like to start this exercise with my lower arm. Once you practice it, you can see which arm feels most comfortable for you to start with. We're going to take that arm back to that position behind our back with the forearm against our back, but our palm in the middle, right at the spine. And here's where we're going to start wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. See if we can get the hand so that it comes inside the left shoulder blade. So between the spine and the left shoulder blade. And I like to kind of help my arm because this is the side that's more challenging for me. So I give it a little bit of help to get that wriggle. And then with the other hand, we come up and over like we did with the tricep stretch. You can start at the back of your neck and then see if the fingertips are close enough to touch. Now they might not be, and that's where you have your strap right there. So you grab your strap with the lower half and the upper half and gently start to scooch your fingers closer to each other if there's any room. And you might find a little more room if you lift your top elbow back, your bottom elbow back, pull apart from each other in order to scooch a little closer together. If your hands are wide apart on the strap, that's fine too. You're practicing that direction of movement. And then shake it out, release that side, switch your strap to the other shoulder, so your right shoulder now, and we'll do that same thing again. Now remember, you can start with the top arm. For whatever reason, my body likes the bottom. Place the hand behind your back, palm away from you, back of the palm right on your spine. Do your little wriggle on this side. You can wriggle your shoulder forward and back to get that hands up a little bit more, aiming for somewhere on the inside of the shoulder blade or between the inside of the right shoulder blade this time and the spine. And again, you can reach behind and give it a little help in the wriggle. Not a force, but a little help. Top hand goes over, back of the neck, and then wriggle the two of them. See if they come a little closer together. Maybe it's only a little one finger clasp, or maybe you grab the strap. I didn't do a good job of placing the strap on the bottom. You might just grab the strap from the start on the bottom, and then you can place it right on the top. Hold for a second. Feeling any more little wriggling around that. So here I do kind of scooch my body around a little bit to see if my fingers get any closer together, not forcing. All right, then you can release. I think we're done with the strap, so let's put it aside. And now we'll do a couple of moves working up to the shoulders in the opposite direction. So there we had the shoulders pulled behind us, the shoulders extended in front of us. Again, that goes from protraction where they pull apart to retraction where they pull together on your back. So now we'll do the protraction. Reach your hands toward me, palms toward each other. Pull the shoulders out of their sockets, or the arm bones out of the shoulder sockets as you reach the fingertips to me. You can give them a little wiggle like me. And then from this position with long straight arms, do a little bit of rolling of the shoulder blades. It's kind of like your arms are like train pistons, if you can imagine that. One direction and then the other. Just get the sense of that movement. Maybe your body moves, that's okay. And reach again, reach your fingertips toward me so that you're pulling your shoulder blades wide. So not just apart, but really widening on your back. From this wide or straight arm position, we'll take the left arm and just place it on top of the right, so your elbows stack. And see if you can lift the arms up and down with the straight arms, using the bottom arm kind of as a lever here, so your right arm lifting. And then after you've done that a few times and loosen that up a little bit more, keep them raised, start to bend your arms, your elbows stay stacked. You might be in this kind of little bit of a goddess, or I call this the Wonder Woman position. You can stay right here. You can be a nice hug position, and this can feel really great. Or if your arms, your shoulders feel like they've given you the opening today, you can work the back of the hands toward each other and maybe even the palm of the hands toward each other. This is eagle arms, Gardasana arms. Wherever you are, whether it's here, here, or here, lift the elbows, pull the arms toward me. Hold for one more breath, and then release. Give it a little shake out. And we'll do the second side. So remember, reaching the arms straight toward me. You can practice that little piston on this side if you'd like, forward and back. We're going to end with reaching both arms long, straight forward, pulling the arms or pulling the arm bones out of the socket, not actually out, but away. Protracting or pulling the shoulder blades apart. And then this time we'll stack your right arm on top of the left, somewhere so that your elbow pits stack. And see if you can get a little bit of an up and down action now here on this side. Kind of prepping for Gardasana. And then keep them as high as they'll go. Bend your elbows, keeping the pits stacked, your elbow pits that is. You can take a hug, and this can feel wonderful in a great way as long as you're still pulling apart to get that stretching motion. You can stay here in some kind of V shape or start to move the backs of the hands toward each other, maybe the palms, and wherever you wind up, remember to lift, lift, lift with your forearms, lift with your elbows, pull away, continue to breathe. Another breath or two. And release. Give it a nice little shake out. All right, one last move. Now this is a little bit more tricky. This is the one move that's going to mean getting off the chair, but there's an option to stay on the chair. So I'm going to show you that first. Scooch the chair around to the side so you can see. All right, so there are two different ways to do this if you stay on the chair. We're going to stretch across the front of your shoulder blades. So you can scooch to the edge of your chair. You can reach your hands so that they touch the seat of the chair, thumbs toward the outside. So you can hold right there. My folding chair actually has a little side piece. You can hold wherever you hold. Draw your shoulder blades toward each other on your back. And maybe even lean a little bit more away for a little bit more of a pull. You can also do this in a doorway by holding either side of the doorway. So if you'd like to stand up and do it in a doorway, that's another option if you're already standing. You can hold the back seat of your chair and lean forward that way. And so here's the kind of trickier option with the chair. holding at the bottom like we did in the first instance. You'll slide yourself toward the edge of the chair, and then we're actually going to lower to the floor from here. Now, if the floor seems really far away, kind of looks that way right now, you can have a blanket or a block in front of your chair. I've done this before, so I'm going to do it without. I'm going to start shifting my bottom off the chair, and then slowly, lowering myself all the way down. And then from here, your legs can come straight. I can keep them crossed. And now my arms are really pulling behind me so that I can pull my shoulder blades together. I can lift and open across the front, across my collarbones, across my chest. I can breathe here for a few breaths, really getting a nice, intense stretch. One more breath, and remember you can do this, a version of this in a doorway, and that feels really wonderful too. Arms bent or straight. All right, I'm going to lean forward to release myself from this, and then I'll just scooch back up to the chair. In fact, I'll scooch right back around to face you. And let's finish just by doing a little bit of release for the shoulders one more time. Rolling them around however feels good. It doesn't have to be up, down. It can be forward, back, and can be sort of a figure 8. Just getting a sense of, do your shoulders feel any different? Any changes with that little practice for you? Anything that you really like? This inquiry is part of functional yoga, to notice what's going on in your body, notice the changes, explore what's different, explore what works for you. And then one last thing, touch the tips of your fingers to the tips of your collarbones and feel the width across here. You can draw your elbows behind you a little bit, kind of chicken wing arms, right? Just feel a little bit wide, expansive. This is all connected to our shoulder girdle, everything in our collar. And this is the part that can get really tight. So just a nice, expansive stretch, expansive opening. And 1 or 2 more natural breaths here. All right, I would love to hear what you liked in the comments. You can comment right down below. If you subscribe to my channel, you will get the updates of when I post something new. It's usually 1 or 2 times a week. I'll link to some of the other chair yoga practices up here as well. So I really hope that this brought some release, some opening, some relaxation to your shoulders. Enjoy the rest of your day today.